Hi, everybody. My name is Matt Metten. I'm with ServiceNow, and I'm actually in the Employee Workflows business unit, and I handle all of our demos that we produce from the Employee Workflows side of life, which includes Employee Center Pro. I keep wanting to call it Employee Service Center because we've been talking about that in HR for the last 2 years, 3 years. But glad to be with you guys. I wanted to, there's a couple little things we could have talked about in terms of, the setup of why we did it and all that, but really, I think the value to me of Employee Center Pro is being able to bring together all the different departments kind of out of box. It's been configured in a way that is a lot easier to handle now. I know you guys are all portal people, so you understand how all this works. If you wanted to just do it yourself, but if you want something that works out of box, this is sort of the approach. So we have a couple pieces around that. One is the enterprise taxonomy. And we'll get into these different pieces, which represents itself in this portal as topics. You'll see things like active items. This whole thing over here is now a configuration versus you having to go build all the different pieces of tasking that you want to do. But underneath all of it, to me, is the power of what's been changing in the platform around AI search. And so that's where a lot of this all comes together because we can do a lot more stuff now around AI search that brings some of that experience together. So at its core, it is just another portal. So those people who have portals can just utilize the widgets and the things that we have. But there's some architecture underneath that I think is pretty powerful from a standpoint of really trying to deliver a unified experience within multiple departments, and yet still allowing the different departments to kind of retain their own silos, if you will. So one of the things you'll notice pretty quickly is we've gotten away from sort of this go to the knowledge base, find something, come back, and kind of having to know where to go versus centralizing things around topics. And the topics part of this is actually very interesting to me because it's being baked into a lot of parts of the platform now. And so we'll go through some of that. So for instance, on this page, obviously there's a whole new display here in terms of a widget, new carousel. Actually, what we've done is consolidated everything into one widget. Because in the past, you had content delivery widgets and there was like 9 of them. And you had to know which one to use to do content delivery if you wanted to target content to people on the portal. And so now we have these experiences that you can create where it's one widget. You can use widget options to kind of modify what it is that you're trying to do, whether it's a banner, whether it's just what are called quick links. So down here you have these quick links that you can use that allow for you to kind of target content. It's all driven off of audiences. So I don't know if you've ever used our content delivery before, but it's all baked in this concept of audiences. So now that's been rolled out to the larger group as well. So as you can see here, I'm logged in as sysadmin, but I have there's some things on here that are kind of just for the demo. So I'm just showing you how our demo looks, and not all this is in place when somebody just turns on their service portal or their Employee Center Pro. So I'll start at the top. So we've got some of these targeted content pieces here. There's a lot of different things that are kind of, there's the standard things of call to actions and different things that I can serve up to different audiences. As we scroll down the page, we have, this is where the AI search comes in, and AI search from a functionality perspective is interesting because I can misspell things, and it's going to hopefully suggest, showing results for laptop versus what I put in, and then give me the things that it thinks I need to know. Then I can divide down even further into things like people. So I can even type in director of whatever. You can if you have the information, it's going to bring back all the people who are directors that I have into my system. So if you don't know, hey, who's head of procurement? You can just type in head of procurement. It'll bring all that back. So it's starting to serve a lot more up from around the platform itself. It'll also do things like, it's probably not laptop. What's the one that's a good one? We'll try this guy. Parental leave. Nope. Let's see if this does it. I'm looking, yeah. So there's these genius results that now can be served up through AI search as well. So it knows, it's trying its best to figure out, like, people who've typed this in have gotten this result, so it's trying to match all that up. So this is where the AI search part is coming in handy. All of these things, all these sources, if you will, are things you can just configure now. You don't have to go do anything too crazy with it from like a coding perspective. Search sources used to be sort of the way to do that, and now we can do this from our sources within AI search. So that's if you're using AI search. If you're not, you can still use whatever you were using. At the portal record, you actually can turn on and off the AI search stuff, which is pretty cool. So back to the homepage, just to show you some of the features. Once you kind of go down this page, this notion of topics is where I think it's starting to change drastically from what we had with Employee Service Center. If I click into like hardware, I don't actually sometimes know what I'm looking for, but I know sort of the general topic that I want, and so I can drill into that and then get to some of the things like, well, actually within hardware I need printer. So in one sense it's like a different layout, but in another sense, if you look down at the results, we're combining catalog items, record producers, and knowledge articles all within the same view. Because most people, when they're looking, don't know if they're needing a knowledge article or a record producer or something, right? So this allows us to kind of put everything together in a topic that maybe internally is like, this is where the conflict comes in, is internally, you might call it something very specific, right? I can't think of a thing off the top of my head, but if you have a specific department that they call it something because that's the industry, but normal people don't talk that way, that's where topics can start to bridge the gap of experience, right? Where they don't really know. Travel's a good one. There's a lot of things in travel that you don't know is in travel, right? Or finance that you don't know is in finance. So you can start to level up some of those topics. Where this is getting powerful is now these topics are actually, we can actually target content based on the topic. So I can actually say, like, let's say there's a new, we're rolling out a new, in IT, we're rolling out Zoom now, or we all just moved to Microsoft Teams at ServiceNow, right? We moved from Slack to Microsoft Teams. That's a big thing. So they can actually target that as a topic. So anybody who's looking for anything around software, or if they're a manager, maybe there's a specific tool set they want to, we can actually target them on these topic pages. And so these pages are now actually living, breathing, dynamic pages. They're not actually, like, I don't have to go hard code anything to it. It's just going to adjust. So if I target like a banner to hardware, it's going to show me a big banner here instead of what I have. If I want to target quick links, it'll put those quick links, like we saw on the homepage, it'll put them here in the right column. It actually dynamically adjusts the column width. And so those things start to appear on the right. Videos, if you wanted to, there was a recording of, best practices around moving to Teams, right? And we can target that video on the right side because it's all tagged to the same topic. So the topics part of it is very interesting to me personally, because I feel like now at the knowledge article level, at the catalog level, at the campaign level, at the portal content, targeted content level, all of the stuff is now being worked through this notion of taxonomy and topics. There's work being done right now for, actually, I think it's in November, our November store release, where they're allowing, there's like a bulk mapping tool coming, because that's one of the things, right? If you've already have like 60,000 knowledge articles, how do I map them to the right topics? So we're helping with some of those tools to get people on board with that if they're already in place. What I like about this is that I can actually start to pull from different knowledge bases. So if I'm, in different departments, different organizations within the company, I can have my knowledge base as I want to run it, my catalog as I want to run it, my process as I want to run it, but I can start to just tag some of these things, and now all that comes together and I have this dynamic page. So it's pretty powerful from that standpoint. What also has been delivered is it's a great mobile experience for this as part of the mobile app. There's topic and subtopic pages. There's the campaigns for topics is already there. So pretty cool from that standpoint. We've already had a lot of this targeted content stuff, but what they've tried to do is consolidate it down. So now there's just one widget, and kind of a unified experience around that, but also tying in topics to it. Recommended for you, so there's a recommended section that's kind of baked into like our AI search capability, right? So as your AI search builds and as your machine learning builds within your organization, some of these things will become more applicable. We use them from a demo perspective. We actually kind of hard code them just so we can tell that story, but it's all based on your audience and all that. Quick links is a cool opportunity. It's sort of like the way of putting buttons on pages, but you can do it based on audiences and target people directly to what you want them to do. So, if it's we're having this, move to Teams. So on that page, we're going to say, here's the configuration guide, or here's a knowledge article that's going to guide you through that, or it's time for benefits re-enrollment. I can use even this area to sort of click that in. What's coming with quick links is when you look at the navigation now, these 4 right here are all driven from the topics, from the taxonomy. So as we enable the taxonomy, this menu is being built dynamically. And so all the different categories, subcategories that are aligned to those topics are going to start to build out in this mega nav. And what's coming is the ability for even the quick links that you've built for these specific top level topics to be here. So think of like, especially around events like knowledge for us, right? We have a knowledge event. We would want to tag that with every one of these. So as I'm going through here, I see like an ad, if you will. I could have a quick link that'll be over here on the right that'll allow me to target people even within the menu. So starting to use up different ways of targeting content in different places, but doing it in a dynamic way. So from like a publishing perspective, what's great about this for customers is they don't have to go to all the different departments to like change, to like get content added to those pages. They can just tag it appropriately and allow that content to show up. So pretty cool. Again, this part has been my active items has all been reworked from like a plumbing perspective so that you can bring together, you can just define, hey, this is the table that I want, and I want you to go grab these items back to it. There's actually more of an expanded view of maybe the top 3 or 4 items here on the right, but it was missing, so far it's missing the inline actions. So think of like approvals, right? Here's 2 approvals that are waiting for you, but they were missing the approver reject. So that's coming in, I think, in our November release, and so we'll add that back in once it's ready. But it is there right now. It just doesn't have those inline actions. These are just some of the things we have in our demo, so you can kind of see that. So in general, I think if I look at the big thing with EC Pro, it is being able to bring together all these departments around a notion of taxonomy, which we also call topics. And obviously being able to target the content. But if you've been using any of our Employee Service Center stuff over the last few years, it's the exact same concept. I can target, I can use the same pieces that I've had. It's just a different widget that's exposing it all. And there's a little bit more of a consolidation in terms of menu and all that. So, yeah. Thank you for having me.